Okay, now we're ready to talk about segmentation. We mentioned it in the earlier video, but now I want to get into a lot more detail relating to how we can create segments and why segments are so important. So why do we care to segment? Well, the first thing is the reason that we want to segment is because it allows us to look at the data in meaningful ways. It allows us to actually take action on data rather than just having what we call the data dump, right? So it's really easy for somebody to give you lots of data, lots of information, but many times we're stuck with the whole thought process of, and now what? What do we do with this? So we're looking at a screenshot out of out of Yahoo Analytics. And we can see that they're measuring the visits, the visitors, and the page views for a particular site. And so this is over a period of a month. And so I'm looking at this and it's like, okay, so the number of visitors went up in March and then it came back down in June, July, August, and then it went up in September. And the page views and the visits kind of follow that trend line. And so you're left asking, so what? So what? What does this mean? Why did this happen? And this is where many analysts with especially analytics get stuck because this data means absolutely nothing. Now, if you give this to your CEO, they look and they say, traffic went up and it went down and went up again. And if they don't know anything about analytics, they might go, okay, so we're doing okay because at the end of the year here, we were still doing okay. But what's more meaningful to him or her is for you to be able to explain, okay, why are these dips here occurring, or these increases occurring? Why did this dip back down occur? And then most importantly, what can we do to continue to raise the traffic? And do we even care about visits versus visitors versus page views? So what we're looking for really is commonalities. And so you're looking at this group of people here, and what we're really trying to do in segmentation is what's represented by the colors on this shot here. And so you might say, okay, we want to segment by browser. And so the blue people might represent the people who come from Chrome, and the yellow from Safari, and the green from Internet Explorer, etc. Or you might choose to segment by age, and so the blue represent 18 to 24, and the gray represent 25 to 30, etc. And so what we're trying to do is take a population, which is represented inside the circle, and break it down into segments. If you've had statistics, this should make some sense. We continue to do this over and over again using different criteria for a population. Segmentation. What you're looking at again is a Yahoo Web Analytics screenshot here, and what you see is all visitors. And so you again see the same, right? From the previous graph, you see the ups and downs of all visitors. But now let's take a look at visitors who came more than one time. Oh, so we just jumped from 40,000 all time to 10,000 people with more than one visit. And so what does this tell us? It basically tells us that most of our traffic never came back after the first visit. We want to be loving on the people in the orange because those people are interested in what we have to offer. So what's wrong? The question I'm asking myself is, what's wrong with the people that are coming to the site, or what's wrong with my efforts to continue to build that relationship with all the people in the blue line to get them to come back more than one time? If you really want to dig down, you could go even further and ask how many people in the orange line converted versus how many people in the blue line. Is it only taking people one time to convert, and that's why they're leaving and not coming back, which is generally not the goal. We want repeat customers. Or is it that neither of these are converting? The most important part of what we do. So you can drill down using a million different things. So I'm just showing you some of them through Yahoo here, Web Analytics, right? So I'm looking at visitors with more than one visit. That's one way I can drill down, one way I can segment. Another way I can segment, and I've moved into analytics here, is by geography. And so what you're seeing here, I believe, is the traffic from the Web Analytics from all over the world. And so that's interesting, right? And so you can see density, obviously represented by darker colors. The United States obviously has more dense coverage than the rest of the world. Nothing, of course, nothing. But does that mean anything to me? Well, I can start drilling down by location. So I want to walk you through how to actually access the data in Google Analytics. And I'm going to use this first geography drill down as an example. So when you're in your Google Analytics account, you notice I'm already signed in here. Now what I want to do is I want to choose my view. Now we're not going to get into this in this session, and I believe you're not going to get into it until actually after midterm, but you can create different views, and these might take into account things like internal IPs, so meaning I want to filter out all the traffic who are currently accessing the website who are on our server. So those would be employees, most likely. Or you might say, hey, listen, here's a test view. Here's a way that I want to view the content, but I'm not exactly sure. I want to filter out this group of people permanently and just see it through that view. And then you have your raw data view. And you'll notice that you always want to have a raw data view. So no matter what website you're accessing, make sure that you have a raw data view. This is the unaltered data coming directly from the servers. Okay, and then you can create new views. Anyway, it doesn't matter for you. We're going to use the master view just because that's what we want to use. So we're going to click on master view. Okay. Oh, and if you're not seeing this, you might just need to, so if you see demo account beta, you probably won't see the Mercyhurst and Who's Grace. So you just should see this. If it's not expanded like that, just click on it and it expands nicely. Okay, so again, we're going to click on master view. And it's going to open up Google Analytics. Now, your dashboard might look a little bit different. Let me remove that. Okay. But it should look pretty much the same as this. So you're going to land right on your dashboard, and you can customize your dashboard. I have not done that. So this, again, is the default. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look, like I said, at geography. And so I already have it expanded here. But what you're going to do is you're going to go down about 5 main menu items to audience. And if that's closed up like this, you're just going to want to click on it and it expands. You're going to want to go down here to geography. And again, that's probably what it will look like under User Explorer. It's the third item down. Click on Geo. And then if you click on location. And so what you should see now is what I saw or showed you on the screen here, give or take a few. And so this is the map of where your traffic's coming from. These are all the sessions and where they are located. And so let's say that I want to drill down in the United States to get some more detail. I'm just clicking on the United States. And so I clicked on the United States, and now you can see the map, and you can see the density here. So by reading this map, you should be able to tell that California obviously has the most traffic coming in. It looks like Texas, New York, also do a little bit of Washington, what is that, Illinois. That's right, yep. And so you can see some differences in traffic, but obviously California has the most traffic, so we're going to click on that. And so you can see that now we've drilled down to California. We now have the density map within the state of California. And you can see these little pockets here of various usage. And if I roll over them, you can see the different cities or locations. And it should give you some more information. Okay, how many sessions are coming actually from each of those areas. And that's super creepy because in Clear Lake, California, there are 2 sessions. Now we look at this really big bubble here. And if we click on it, it should allow us to dive down a little bit. It's not giving us very much hope here. But as you roll across, you will be able to magnify and see some more specific areas. Okay, and so let's go ahead and scroll down. There's the area I was trying to get to, Mountain View. Okay, so we see Mountain View, California having the highest number of sessions at 4343. Now, one might ask, why Mountain View? Well, just so you know, Google's located in Mountain View, California. So you remember going back to what I was talking to you about. This view, I'm guessing, and I haven't looked at the administrator rights, but this view probably includes all of Google's employees. So we're looking at Google's employees in addition to everybody else that's included here. However, we're just going to pretend it's not that, and we're going to keep on going. So what do we see here? This is what's interesting. We can see the total number of sessions. Okay, and a session is when your activity continues and does not have a lag of more than 30 minutes. I believe it's 29.99 minutes. And so what that basically is saying is these are active users. When your session times out, if you come back to your browser, so let's say that you're working on Blackboard and you decide to go get lunch with a friend, but you leave Blackboard open, and I'm checking the analytics for Blackboard. You go get lunch. I notice that at noon, your session has a lag, and then at 12:29:99, Google says the session is over and it automatically closes you out. Now, it doesn't look like that on your screen. Nothing changes for you on your screen. However, when you come back at 1 o'clock, an hour later, and go to start working on Blackboard again, I see from the analytics side that you had 2 sessions. Does that make sense? So that after 29 minutes, your session times out and a new session begins. And so that's what this is. So think about this. Does that mean that 4,343 people accessed your site? No. It simply could mean that you have multiple session timeouts. Now you can look at session duration and get a pretty good idea for that, because obviously if session duration is well over 30 minutes, then you know that you might have, or close to 29 minutes, you might have people sitting on the site for a long time and then timing out. And there's some other ways to look at that as well. But what I can tell you is that this is the number of sessions that were started. Okay. Here's a percentage of new sessions. So these are people come in and start new sessions, new users. Bounce rate, you want to be concerned with bounce rate. And so I would expect the bounce rate for Mountain View to be pretty low, because these people are probably, again, employees of Google, and they're on the site looking around, being very focused on what they're looking for, and making changes to the site. Pages per session, you'll notice that pages per session are actually quite high. So these are, we would say, active users. You're concerned when these pages per session are in the 1 to 2 page range, because that basically means people are coming, they're puking, they're leaving. Average session duration is also very high. It's over, and again, you have to kind of get the average for your site, but it looks like here the average session duration is well over 3 minutes, and it's a pretty good number. Transactions, and so here's what's interesting, and this is an anomaly, and obviously I don't know because Google doesn't allow me to know this, but think about this. Transactions, 171 transactions, so I'm guessing that Google's having their employees either test the site or they're having folks go in and purchase stuff, just like you would purchase Mercyhurst gear. They want them to purchase Google gear. So 171 sessions, revenue is over $14,000. And then their e-commerce conversion rate. So we'll talk about that if we haven't already, but it's the number of people who come to the site and actually convert, buy something from your site. And so even though Mountain View, California has the highest here, I believe this is San Francisco, just kidding. They have a higher e-commerce conversion rate. So what's happening in this location? But look down here, 6.75 in Irvine, California. We have over 6% conversion rate. That's phenomenal. So we want to do more of whatever we're doing here to continue to increase these e-commerce conversion rates. And so, like I said, you can start drilling down by location. And you can also take a look at this and then go and apply some other information to this. So let's take a look at how to do this by applying source to this data. So we've already drilled down. You can see the California cities with the highest traffic. Now what we want to do is go ahead and click on Mountain View, and or you can click on any of them if you'd like. And if we scroll down here, you can see, again, they're just highlighting Mountain View. The session number is still the same as we saw earlier. This data should still be the same. But what we're going to do is choose a secondary dimension. Remember that dimensions are the things that we find in rows, and the metrics are the things that we find in columns. So we're going to go ahead and click on this, and we are going to, and you can choose anything. I'm just going to look at source, and so I'm just typing source in to that box and hitting OK. And now what I can do is, this is super cool, I then can take a look at all the Mountain View's sessions by how they got there. And so what was the source of the traffic? And so I'm scrolling over here. They're coming from mall.googleplex.com, Google, direct traffic, DFA, sites.google.com, Facebook, etc. And so you can see all the sessions, And then what we can do is say, okay, where are we getting traffic that's actually converting? Because that's the biggest thing, right? So we want to see our traffic conversion. And so here we have a 6.55, and that's coming from the mall Googleplex. That's awesome, thank you. However, we have a higher e-commerce conversion rate down here that I'm interested in because, goodness, they're on the site for 10 minutes. They're converting at a high rate. Revenue's low, but that's because the number of sessions is only 6. And so we go over here and it's actually Facebook. And so where do you think I want to put my advertising money into? Do I want to put it into sites? Nope, I probably want to take a look at Facebook here. See that we then took our population, right, of all the people that we started with, and we broke them down into geography. And so we looked at Mountain View and Sacramento and San Francisco, etc., all in California. Then we took that population in Mountain View and we dug even deeper. And so this is what's most important about segmentation, is not just that you segment the people, but you segment them in meaningful ways, because now I have an advertising decision that I can make based on data that I found from the website, and I can more strategically spend my advertising dollars offline. Well, I guess it's online, excuse me, in a more meaningful way. I know that people who come from Facebook are coming and spending money and converting at a higher rate than average. I want to make sure that my money is going to things that I know already create volume and positive benefit for me.